Azure Active Directory helps you to manage your cloud-based apps, on-premises apps, and your resources. Your resources can be part of the directory, such as Azure Key Vault and storage accounts, or external to the directory, such as software as a service apps, Azure services, SharePoint sites, and on-premises resources. Azure Active Directory helps you give access to your organization's resources by providing access rights to a single user or to an entire Active Directory group. Using groups lets the resource owner or Azure Active Directory owner assign a set of access permissions to all the members of the group, instead of having to provide the rights one by one. The resource or directory owner can also give management rights for the member list to someone else, such as a department manager or a help desk administrator, letting that person add and remove members as needed. There are 4 ways to assign resource access rights to your users. With direct assignment, the resource owner directly assigns the user to the resource, bypassing the group concept. With group assignment, the resource owner assigns an Azure Active Directory group to the resource, which automatically gives all of the group members access to the resource. Group membership is managed by both the group owner and the resource owner, letting either owner add or remove members from the group. With rule-based assignment, the resource owner creates a group and uses a rule to define which users are assigned to a specific resource. This rule is based on attributes that are assigned to individual users. The resource owner manages the rule, determining which attributes and values are required to allow access to the resource. With external authority assignment, access comes from an external source, such as an on-premises directory or software as a service application. In this situation, the resource owner assigns a group to provide access to the resource, and then the external source manages the group members. Currently in Azure Active Directory, I have created 3 users. Chris and Paul are users I created while logged into the Azure portal. My Microsoft account was automatically added to my Azure Active Directory tenant when I signed up for Azure. No groups have been created yet. I will create 2 groups of users. The first group I will create, I will call the Key Vault group. Users in this group will have an owner role on the Key Vault resource. The second group will be called the Storage Account group. Users in this group will have owner privileges to the storage account resource. At the scope of my DevOps subscription, that is at the subscription level, all groups will only have a reader role. I will call this group Key Vault group. Later on, I'm going to specify the owner of this group and also add a couple of members. For now, I'll click Create. I'll add the second group. This I will call Storage Account. The next step is to add users to both groups. In the storage account group, I'm going to add Paul. In the Key Vault group, I want to add Chris in this group. Now I want that in the DevOps subscription, both group members, that is, members in the Key Vault and storage account groups, should only have the reader role by default. So to give Key Vault reader, a reader role. I would select that from the drop-down menu. The reader role lets you view everything but not make any changes. I choose the group, click Save. I'll do the same for the storage account group. Specify its role as reader, choose the group, and save it. So for the DevOps subscription, we've assigned roles to each group. We've assigned by default a reader role to both the Key Vault group and the storage account group. To test my configuration, I will sign into Paul's account, which is a member of the storage account group, and try to create a storage account in the DevOps subscription. So I'm currently connected to the Paul's account. First of all, I will try to create a resource. Now, because I have assigned Paul to a reader role, he shouldn't be able to create an account. And the error says Paul does not have authorization to perform action over this particular scope. The scope is the DevOps subscription. Currently, no resources have been created in this resource group. So I'm going to go back to my administrator account and try to create a resource and see if Paul in the storage account reader role can modify or delete that resource. So in Azure Portal, I'm going to create a storage account. I'll call this cloud tag storage account. So with the resource created, I should be able to view this resource in Paul's account. Assign into Paul again. And yes, I'm able to see the storage account resource. Now remember, I have only a reader role as Paul. So what I'll try to do is to create a blob. I call this blob 1. Again, since I don't have the right kind of authorization, I cannot create this blob. Also, I do not have access to view access keys for this storage account. To recap, I will highlight some of the roles you can assign to a group of users related to your storage account. The owner role allows a user to manage everything, including assigning access. The contributor role allows the user to do everything the owner can do except assign access. With this role, you can view and regenerate the storage account keys. With the storage account keys, you can access the data objects such as blobs, files, queues, and tables. The reader role enables the group to view information about the storage account except secrets. For example, if you assign a role with reader permissions on the storage account to someone, they can view the properties of the storage account, but they can't make any changes to the properties or view the storage account keys. The storage account contributor role enables the user manage the storage account. They can read the subscription's resource groups and resources and create and manage subscription resource group deployments. They can also access the storage account keys, which in turn means they can access the data plane. Let's give our user in the storage account group the storage account contributor role. We assign it to storage account. Now Paul has been assigned the storage account contributor role, or better still, we've assigned the storage account contributor role to the storage account group in which Paul belongs to. So we see we still have our storage account resource as well as a resource group. So going into storage account, we now have access to the storage account keys. After changing the role of our storage account group to storage account contributor, users can now view the storage account keys. With the right privilege, Paul can also create blobs, and we should be able to upload files into this blob. This is too huge. Let's find something smaller. Okay. By modifying the privileges assigned to the storage account group, the user, Paul, can now make changes or modifications to that storage account. To summarize, in this practice lecture, I've demonstrated how to create groups and add members to the group in Azure Active Directory. Eventually, by applying the right level of privilege to the groups, users were presented with different rights to perform certain restricted operations on the resources. In the next lecture, I will demonstrate how you can do something similar with Azure Key Vaults.